I have been putting off this book for the longest time because it is such a dark romance, but I'm happy to say that I finally read it, so let's get into this review. As always, I will leave the book and my rating here for you guys, but I recently finished Haunting Adeline by H.D. Carlton, and this was definitely a 5-star read for me. Before I jump into the review, I do want to give you a little disclaimer. This book is so dark, so definitely check the trigger warnings before reading it. And I also am dropping some spoilers, so if you don't want to hear too much about the book, feel free to click out of this video. I will say that I finished this book a couple days ago, and I needed a couple of days to kind of sit with everything that I read because it was just such a tough book to get through, but in the best ways. When I say dark romance, so much of this book is so explicitly written. I would say that H.D. Carlton does a really, really good job of portraying the story to you. The characters were written beautifully, and the actual plot of the story was really, really captivating too. Haunting Adeline is the perfect blend of romance, mystery, thriller, suspense, and really dark, deep desires. Even the setting of the book takes place in this like gloomy, secluded mansion, which plays so beautifully into the entire like dark romance feel of the book. Something that I really, really enjoyed about this book was that there was more than one plot happening at the same time, so you are really on your toes reading this entire story. Adeline is one of the main characters, and she hands down gives that impression of little mouse, but also someone who's really strong and independent and confident as well. She has this really inquisitive side to her, which is portrayed so well throughout the book. Adeline inherits this super gloomy mansion from her grandparents after they pass away, and the minute that she moves in, that's when she starts to notice these really odd things happening around her in the mansion. I am talking roses left all over the place for her, empty whiskey glasses that someone obviously has drank from, and that starts to make her think that maybe someone is stalking her. In clearing out the mansion, she comes across these diaries that her great grandmother left behind, and of course she starts to read them, but that takes her down this really long rabbit hole of trying to figure out what actually happened to her great grandmother and what caused her unaliving. So on top of trying to figure out who is stalking her, now Adeline is also trying to figure out what actually happened to her great grandmother. Let's put a pause on Adeline really quickly and switch over to Zaid, who is also the second main character in the book. And I just want to say that I totally get it when people say that they wouldn't want a stalker unless it's Zaid, because I 100% feel that. We quickly come to learn that Zaid is the one stalking Adeline, but even more than that, he is in love with her, and he is determined to make her fall in love with him as well. Zaid has his own dark life that he's living. He's trying to uncover the society that is harming women and children, and of course he is trying to figure that out while also trying to make Adeline fall in love with him too. The book is told from the POV of Adeline and Zane, which I know I mentioned before, but I absolutely love a book that has multiple POVs because you really get to know the characters independently. And with the multiple POVs, you also get to learn a little bit more about the desires of both Adeline and Zane, and you quickly come to realize that Zane isn't as bad of a guy as we really thought he was. Also, what starts off as Adeline being somewhat scared of Zane and afraid of what's going to happen with him, she starts to develop these feelings for him, and it almost seems as if she's falling in love with him too. And the spicy encounters that they have with one another are completely out of this world and nothing like what I've read before. And I will say that I have read quite a few spicy books, but this absolutely tops it. And I know I mentioned that this is a dark romance, but when I tell you that the spicy scenes were definitely dark, it is another level of spicy, smutty romance, and I personally will say shamelessly that I really, really enjoyed every bit of it. Now, I don't want to give away too much of the book because there is a part 2, which is Hunting Adeline, but I will say that Haunting Adeline absolutely leaves you on a cliffhanger. And the way that the book ends, you absolutely want to dive right into Hunting Adeline too. So, all of that to say, I am absolutely happy that I started this series. Haunting Adeline was not what I expected, but everything that I absolutely needed, and I cannot wait to start Hunting Adeline tonight too.